All right, guys, welcome back to the Membership Momentum virtual series. Everybody on here should know me. I'm Amelia Stansel, the District Governor for District 7610 for another week and a few days and a few minutes and a few hours like we were just talking about. I am excited to see everyone here tonight. We've got a great program that I'm really super jazzed about. It's one of my fellow District Governor classmates for another week and 6 days and how many minutes,
Exactly.
right? Is what we're down to at this point. I'll do a formal introduction for him in a moment as people continue to come in here. But to give you kind of a background on where this membership momentum series came from, this spring we completed a series across the district of area membership summits. We said, you know, rather than bringing everybody together for one membership summit, let's take it out into the district. And so we did 11 summits. One evening or one day on the weekend for an hour and a half. They were short and sweet, focused summits, and took them out to be able to do it. And then we said, okay, this momentum's going. What do we do next? We said, well, let's have a series of incredible speakers come in. No pressure, Ron, on the being incredible, irresistible, right? The
Right.
incredible speakers that come in and share with us their wisdom when it comes to membership. So that's how we got to this point. So I sat down with our district membership chair, Eileen Curtis, who's on tonight. We said, okay, what do we want to have? What are the types of topics? So the first couple that we had were on how do you do the Discover Rotary process, and how do we do different pieces of it? He said, okay, the next part in here is let's bring in Ron to talk about how do we engage our members? How do we help our clubs move forward with that retention part? And then we have two more at the end after this. So it's a 5-week or it's a 5-month series. So I'll introduce those other two in a minute, but that's kind of how we got to this point. I want to kind of give you kind of a rundown of what we're going to do tonight. I'm doing the introduction. I'll introduce Ron. Ron will do his spiel, if you will, and share with us his wisdom. And then after that, we'll open it up for questions. And so we'll have a good probably 15 minutes for questions at about 5:40 or at 5:40. I will take it back and I will do a 5-minute wrap up of the upcoming events for the district and let you guys go at 5:45. If you still have questions afterward and you're like, hey, I have a few more questions I want to ask, we can stay on afterward. I'll stop the recording at that point, and you can stay on and ask more questions, or you can reach out to Ron directly. Either way, because I'll tell you, it's pretty impressive the information that he's going to give you. If it's anything like the video we were just talking about at the beginning, you're going to be blown away with the wisdom that he has when it comes to membership and engaging our members. So without much more ado on that, I want to go ahead. Oh, and yes, this is being recorded. Yes, it will go on our YouTube channel. It'll be on probably by Thursday or Friday of this week because I'm traveling tomorrow. If I can get up hold and send over to Dave Borowski, he will get it loaded on our YouTube channel. So then you can go out and rewatch it as much as you want. Or Ron, you can share it with the world, whatever you want to do. But it'll be out there for you guys. So with that, I want to go ahead and introduce Ron Pierce. Ron is the district governor for District 7690 down in North Carolina. He is a North Carolinian, born in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, where and lived there until he attended and graduated from the Gardner-Webb University with a degree in religious education. So he's an educator at heart. So you'll hear that coming out in this tonight because that's when I hear him over and over. You can hear that coming through with him. He is a minister, a part-time youth pastor for churches in North Carolina. He felt his calling to serve others a little bit more while working in corporate America, holding positions in IT, ranging from an instructor and database network administrator to help desk manager. He had the opportunity to start his own IT managed services company called Trinity Solutions. Kind of ties in with being a pastor. So he does have that company. He started that in 2003. And then in 2010, after many years of business networking, he joined the Guilford Rotary Club, looking for networking opportunities and giving back to the community. He was immediately assigned to being an Interact chair, like many of us, for the Western Guilford, and was awarded Rotarian of the Year in 2010. He served in this role for several years until deciding to begin the process to become a club president and served from 2018 to 2019. He missed COVID by this much, right? He then began serving as an assistant governor for Area 11 and for District 7690. He's a Paul Harris Fellow as well as a Paul Harris Society member. He's also a supporter of the Polio Plus Promise Initiative, much like our Polio Plus Society here in our district. He has served as the member attraction committee, served on the membership attraction committee, the district annual fundraising committee, as well as spoken at several clubs, district and zone 33, 34 events and meetings throughout his years to be able to reach more people with the message about Rotary. Personally, he's married for over 20 years to his lovely wife, Wendy, and they have a mini Brady bunch, as he calls it, consisting of 3 boys and 1 girl, with 2 of the boys being married and one of them bringing bringing the first grandbaby back in September 2021 and a second grandbaby in December 2023. They live in Climax, North Carolina. Also very devoted to animal rescue, and personally have 12 cats and 2 dogs, all rescues, which they consider those their other kids, or as we call them, fur babies in our household.
Fur
So
babies.
I want to welcome Ron. Thank you so much for being here.
It's absolutely my pleasure, Amelia. I'm thrilled to be here and to do this. And um, it's fun celebrating Father's Day when you're a grandfather. That's cool. Because then you get to mess with them and then send them home, which is exactly the way you want to do it. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to talk about membership, obviously, and I want to spend a little time here. Here's my goal. And I've got basically 20 to 25 minutes to do this. I want the light bulb to go off on top of your head. Okay, at some point in this meeting, I want you to hear something that makes you go, holy, and then you go, that makes total sense. I've seen that. That's happened. And it's just going to watch the dominoes fall, because that's what I want you to have tonight, is that experience. So I'm going to share my screen here, and hopefully you can see it here. It should say psychology behind club membership and growth. Everybody see that? Okay. Because that's what I want you to understand, is kind of how this works. Because once you get this information, I promise you it is going to change how you look at clubs and how you look at how you operate from a membership standpoint. And Millie and I were talking about this. One of the biggest frustrations is to see somebody come into the club and then within 1 to 3 years max, they leave the club. And they looked like they were going to be great, and then all of a sudden life happened, and it's like, why? And it seems like that's one of our biggest struggles when we're talking about this in clubs, is that we can get them in, but it's trying to keep them and trying to figure it out why. So that's what I want to talk about tonight. I want to go into this because I feel like once you understand what's happening, you can plug the holes in the boat and stop it from sinking. All right. So let's talk about this. All right. I told Amelia that this year's district governor, I have seen some tremendous success, and I have seen some frustrations, and I have seen clubs turn things around, and I have seen clubs that I thought were going to be great this year that just totally did not happen. And I was like, why? And so I started analyzing it, because Amelia and I are kind of the same way. We want to know why things work and why, what's happening. And here are the 2 things that I discovered that will dictate whether a club is going to have a successful year or not. And when I say success, I mean that they're going to grow, they're going to expand their outreach in the community, they're going to become more of a positive influence. Okay, these are the 2 areas that are going to drastically affect that. Here's the first one. One, what is the passion/purpose of the club? If you have started a brand new club, which Amelia, you were talking about this is one of the things that makes brand new clubs so successful, is because when the club starts, almost everybody who's coming in that group has got a united focus. We know why we are here. And because we are going to do this is our focus, this is our purpose. That's why. And because we're excited about it, we have passion to do it. So the energy's in the club, it's there. What happens when you got a club that's 98 years old? It ain't there. Because for most clubs, as they age, the purpose and the passion begins to fade. It begins to walk away. It begins to pass away. And those people who had been the energy and the lightning and the batteries aren't in the club the way they used to be. And so now the club is struggling. So if the club doesn't have a distinct passion/purpose, Why are we here? What's our reason for existing? It's going to have a direct effect on whether or not they have a successful year. Here's the second thing that I found. It is the vision of the president for the club. If the president of the club has the vision that I want to see our club do this, I want to see it grow, I want to see it impact more people in the community, I want to see it grow more for the foundation. If the president of the club has a distinct vision that they can actually verbalize to the club and continuously verbalize to the club, that will give the club the traction and the power it needs in order to be successful. When you have a president who is basically fog in the mirror, it will directly affect the ability of the club. And this is what I found. If one of those things was true, let's say you've got a club that's very passionate, they've got a purpose, they know why they're there, but the president is not a very good leader. They do not have that vision, they do not have that energy. The club will maintain, it will absorb the lack of what the president has, and it'll keep going. It'll grow a little bit, but it's not going to be huge, and people are going to fill in the gaps for the president. If it's the reverse, the president has got energy, they've got purpose, they know what they want to do, but the club isn't really sure about what's going on. What the president will often do is begin to give the club purpose, and the club will begin to gain a little traction, and the club will actually experience a little bit of growth with that president. But what tends to happen is if the next person that comes behind them is not of the same footing, that whatever momentum they got, they start losing. And they gain a little bit and they lose a little bit. If both of these things are negative, club doesn't have purpose, the person who's in the leadership role is not a leader, you will see that club dwindle. You will see it lose members. You will see it basically become just whatever it is now. So these two things are crucial. And at this point, you can go to any club, and I can tell you, if you answer those two questions, and however you answer those questions, you're going to know right off from the very beginning of this next coming year in July what's getting ready to happen in that club. And you will be amazingly surprised on this. All right, so that's part of the psychology. But let's talk about this problem here, because a lot of us, what we're dealing with is we are dealing with clubs that are having trouble. They're not keeping the members. We can get them, but we're not necessarily keeping them. And a lot of times we sit there and go, well, is it because of this? Are we not onboarding well? Are we not giving them opportunities to serve? Or what are we doing? And so we're sitting there trying to figure out what's the actual problem. And most of the time, we aren't working on the problem, we're working on the symptom. And this is kind of huge, because you got to figure out what the real problem is that's going on in that club. And it takes a little time, because a lot of times what we will say the problem is that we're losing members. And the lack of the members leaving the club is not the problem. That's the symptom. There's something else that's causing that. Why are the people leaving? What's going on? What's happening in that club? And what I will tell you, that from what I've seen in doing this and speaking all over districts and zones, it's because that club does not have a passion and a purpose. That is why that club is suffering. Because, and I use this illustration a lot, people do what they want to do. I mean, you guys know that. I mean, how many of you know somebody who, if they love golf, they're going to play golf no matter what the temperature is, no matter what the weather is. They will go and they will get out there somehow, some way. They'll do something golf related, because that's their passion. That's what they love. What's happened is if a lot of our members in these clubs, they don't have passion for Rotary anymore. Rotary doesn't excite them. They don't have a wow about them. They're not, they don't have that energy, which is why new clubs are the exact opposite. Because new clubs, the members are excited, they're thrilled, they're enthusiastic about Rotary, so therefore they've got the energy, they've got the purpose, they're going to attract more people. It's just the way things work. So for our clubs that have existed for quite a while, we've got to help them get back to the reason why we exist. And that a lot of times means you've got to have a conversation, a club meeting that just basically says, what is our reason as a club to continue to meet? Why are we here? And a lot of times you're going to hear that it's, well, we're because of the friendships or because of this particular project in the community. If it's not something that lights the fire of the members of the club, it's not something that's going to motivate people to come to that meeting. Okay, let me say that again. If it's not something that lights the fires of the members of that club, it is not going to be something that motivates people to come to the meeting. Because we all have it. We've got 100 people on the roll, but we got 30 to 40 people that show up. And where are the rest of them? Well, the rest of them aren't there because the rest of them go, I like Rotary. I'm just not really enthusiastic about what happens in my club. So I don't show up. I got other things I need to do. So how do we get the passion back? All right, that's our question. That's what we want to know. If I got a 98-year-old club, and I'm picking on Amelia here because she was telling me that her club turned 98. I've actually had 3 clubs this year that turned 100. That I got to go to that. So how do we get a passion back? All right, this is what's going to happen. We've got to go back to the beginning. When we did what we loved, and the club meeting starts meeting our needs again. And that's what I want to spend just the rest of the time here is talking about what the purpose of the club is. Because a lot of people aren't realizing what that club meeting is there for. And once you realize why it's there, you'll go, oh, and then you're going to start analyzing things and you're going to go, oh, and now you'll realize why things aren't working well. All right. So here's the thing. You got a Rotary Club, but everybody's different, right? So the question is do we have anything in common? Of all these people who are Rotarians, are there anything in common? Well, everybody listens to the exact same radio station, WIIFM. What's in it for me? Okay. No matter what person joined the Rotary Club, they are listening to that radio station and they are asking themselves every time it is time for a meeting in Rotary, what's in it for me to go to this meeting? And if there's not something that makes it go towards Rotary, like, oh, I really want to do this, or I'm going to see this, or I'm going to enjoy this, they're not going to come. If it's work versus something that really is not going to hold their attention and it feels like it's more like an hour out of their day, then it's a reason to go. They're not going to come because there's nothing in it for them. That's what they're telling you. So when people do not come to your meeting, they are telling you, in this meeting, I do not feel like there is something for me of value. And now we got to figure out, well, what's of value? What are they wanting that we aren't doing? All right. Well, I asked that same question, and guess what, Amelia? The answer was given to us when we went to International Assembly. It was in this little packet buried in the middle of all this stuff. And my gosh, district governors, we get so much training over 3 years. But during this little training, this little page just jumped out and started singing hallelujah to me in the chorus. And this is what it said. Every club has an experience. Some experiences are incredible and everybody loves being there. Some experiences are not incredible, aka the boring meeting of the nonprofit who talks and asks for money. Okay, we've all had those experiences. We know what we're talking about here. So Rotary said, tell us why you joined Rotary. What's the experience? And so in 2021-22, they did, and here's what they came up with. Here is why Rotarians join the meetings. Community service, 23%. Friendship, 17%, because a lot of times they don't know people when they first join. They know 1 or 2, but they don't know many. They want to get involved in international service projects, so that kind of goes along with community service. They want the business aspect of it, professional connections, and then there's the other aspect like leadership development. That's what I call 8%, the leadership development. And then you've got the people who go, yes. Which one do you want? Yes. All of it. That's why I'm here. All of it. I sent an email out today to about 10 people who joined our district over the last month or so. And I asked them, of these three things, friendship, community service, business, why did you join? I had 2 or 3 that came back that told me, yes, all 3. So all 3. All right. So why did the Rotarians stay in the club? Take a look. It didn't change. The 3 reasons did not change. It just kind of strengthened. Community service went up a little bit, but friendship, now I got people that I know, that was higher. My professional connections, yeah, Rotary didn't turn out to be as big of a business thing as I thought it was going to be. So, but still, I've made some connections and it's okay. But all of the above, I'm kind of leaning more towards something now. It's maybe not all of it, but it's some of it. So those are the reasons people stay. But look at why they left. Because the club's environment or culture was toxic. It wasn't right for them. They had expectations of being in a meeting, and when they got in the meeting, their expectations were not met. Rotary did not. They got sold something that it didn't appear that's what it was. And then the one that we hear, life. But in the South, I joke about this because in the South, we will lie to you in your face, but we'll do it with a smile. And we will not hurt your feelings. So we will tell you it is life long before we'll tell you it's those other 2 things. Okay, because we don't want to hurt your feelings. So yes, that's what you hear. But me. So what are the 3 reasons your people have joined your Rotary Club? Here you go. Number 1, friendships and fun. Okay, it's the people. Number 2, they want to give back to the community. They want to have opportunities for service. And number 3, they want opportunities to talk about business. They want to work business. They want to have networking. They want to build those relationships in the community because they're hoping that this club has got people in it that know people that can help them in their career. Okay. And then the 4th one I always say there is that there's that piece of I want to build, my leadership skills. I want to learn how to be a better person. Those are the 3 reasons your people have joined Rotary. Those are the 3 reasons they are in your club. Those are the 3 reasons that if the club is not providing those 3 things to them, they will leave. All right, let me say that again. If your club is not providing those 3 things to them on a regular basis, like focused on one of those things every month, they will leave. Or at a minimum, they will not come to the meeting, but they'll be a Rotarian. That's it. This isn't rocket science. It's not hard. But I'm telling you, people, this is where we have messed up because we've created a formula of how we run a meeting that has been used since the 80s. And that formula does not give enough to these 3 areas. So people come in, they think they're going to experience these things, and they don't. And I'd be willing to bet some of you guys that knows multiple clubs, you know that the clubs focus on one of these areas. Like there are certain clubs that are really good at service projects. I mean, that's just all they do, but they don't do very much business networking. Or there's really good clubs that do social all the time. I mean, they're forever going, hanging out, having a great time. Service is there. Again, business networking not allowed. But what you notice is that people who attend, they're attending because that's why they want to come. The people who are very social are attending a club that is social, friendship and network and fun. The club people who want to give back to the community are active in the clubs that do that. They're sticking with where they want to get their what's in it for me's, the warm fuzzies. That's why they're there, is because their needs are getting met. Those people who are not coming to your club meetings are not getting their needs met, and they are telling you that. They're saying this club focuses heavy in one of these 3 areas, but that's not my area. And so therefore, I like the people. I don't necessarily want to leave, but I got better things to do with my time. Okay. At this point, a lot of times the light bulbs are starting to go off because it's like, holy crap. It's like, yeah. So how do we do this? How do we add this into the meetings? You have to be conscientious about this. And I mean, super conscientious about this. This is like saying, if we're going to bake a cake and we know that it's going to have these 3 ingredients in it, you cannot bake the cake without these 3 ingredients. If you're going to have an irresistible club experience, it requires these 3 things to happen in the club every meeting. Now, when I say every meeting, doesn't mean that we do service projects every meeting or that we have, it's a fun fellowship every meeting. But what I mean is that it's being brought up. It's going to happen within 1 to 2 meetings. We're reminding you, hey, this is coming up. And everybody is connecting, going, oh, yeah, we're going to be doing this social in a couple of weeks. Oh, yeah, we're going to be doing this service project. Oh, hey, this is business networking this week. It's all being brought into the whole mixture every time that people go. It might not be this meeting, but I know it's coming up. And so they feel it. They hear it. They get to experience it in the meeting. So here's the deal. If we're responsible for the club meetings, if we're responsible for these people, and we know that they need those 3 things, it's our responsibility to provide those 3 things. Point blank. I mean, this isn't something I created. I showed you. This is what Rotary did. It did the survey worldwide. Worldwide, those 3 things are what showed up. Every Rotarian, those 3 things showed up. So it's why we're here. It's why we joined. But if we're not providing that, they're going to leave. They're just going to leave. And it's usually because of that one. Unmet expectations. I thought it was going to be one way and it turned out to be something else. So what we have to do is we have to focus. We have got to actually take a look at our club experience and make it, change it, tweak it, do what we've got to do to bring those 3 elements back into the meeting and make it part of what we do. It's not easy. And I'll tell you that it's not easy because people get very locked into how things happen in a club. And so when you start trying to mess with the recipe, people start going, no, 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 and the shackles raise up or whatever. You have to do it slow, okay? And we don't have time to discuss exactly how to do this. But what I have told my presidents this year is boil the frog slowly, okay? Turn the heat up just a little bit at a time. Add one new little element every couple of weeks. Let them get used to it. Throw another little element in there. Slowly start mixing up so they start kind of getting used to the idea that you're going to do something just a little bit different. By the time you get into November, December, you've kind of got that meeting humming now in a different way, and everybody's kind of gotten used to it. Okay. So, but here's our big thing, guys. How are you going to know when it worked? How are you going to know if what you did worked? When that person who has not been coming to the meeting comes to the meeting, experiences what they haven't experienced in a long time, and they want to come back. And then they start bragging about their club. They go back to the office and start saying, oh man, I know you guys, I know I have told you how boring, Rotary can be, but I want to tell you, we had the best time today. We haven't done anything like that, I don't think ever. It was the coolest thing. So they start bragging. And then they go, but hey, you know what? Why don't you come with me? After they've been through it and they see that this isn't something that's going to just go away, that this is the way the club now operates, they're going to want to bring new people to experience this. This is how you grow the club. It's the club experience comes back in. Now, new clubs are critical. That is, and I know that Patrick and Patrick are going to be talking about that in next couple of months. But for an existing club, you've got to bring those 3 elements back in. There they are, right there, people. Those 3 elements have got. Now, I always get people go, Ron, how do we do that? How do we bring those 3 elements back in? So guess what? I'm going to give it to you right there. That website or that QR code, whichever one you want, will take you to a Dropbox folder that has 50 ways to add fun and friendship to your meeting. It has 48 ways to add service projects or what we call micro projects to your meeting. It will give you 25 ways to add business to your meeting. It gives you the title, the steps, 1, 2, 3, the supplies you need. It gives it to you so that you can basically say, oh, this is how I do this and operate this. They also, because you need a good mixture, there's an Excel spreadsheet in there that will allow you to say, our club year starts on this and we meet twice a month or once a month. It will throw all the dates on another spreadsheet and it'll allow you to choose what the focus is of that meeting and color codes it for you. So you can see if we've got too many speakers or we've got too many service projects or we've got too much. It allows you to actually, the people who are helping you plan the program for the club, because we all do it, we do it 90 days out. It allows you to be able to see, hey, we've got a good balance here. This, we're going to do this, and it allows people to kind of get an idea of what's going to happen. The other nice thing about this, and here's some of the stuff that's in there. It also gives you the club experience areas to consider. I call this my secret shopper list. These are the things that the guests are looking at, you don't know they're looking at. So it allows you to actually kind of plan. So, but the planning calendar is the one I was talking about by the Excel spreadsheet. It kind of looks like this. And then it gives you this. And it allows you to, at a very quick spreadsheet that you can share with everybody, that you can see, hey, there it is. What we're going to be doing. Fun and friendship. We're going to play getting to know you game. It's going to be 2 truths and a lie. Everybody has to tell us 2 truths and one thing that is a lie. And we have to guess what's the lie. One thing I want to tell, and before I throw out the questions real quick, if you do fun. The card drawing, the thing that we do, the Queen of Hearts or whatever, that is not enough. Okay, that is not enough fun for someone who needs the fun and friendship. They need more of that. They need a meeting that's devoted to just kicking back and having a good time. Okay, little snippets of different things like this it's like being on a diet. It doesn't sustain you. You've got to have more. Okay, so give you back that in case you didn't get it. All right, I just threw a bunch of stuff at you, and I know, and I'm gonna stop my computer here and come back. Any light bulbs go off? Anybody go? Like, oh crap. Yeah. Okay.
At least for me, there was. I'll tell you, Ron, you just first of all, 2 sheets of worth of notes, but that was freaking awesome. So many good ideas in there. I cannot wait to use these for my club, but I don't want to hog up the time. If people want to just jump off mute and ask questions, if you want to raise your hand and be polite, you can do that too. But we're all family. If you want to just come off mute and ask questions, that's totally fine. So I see Eileen is off mute. Do you have one that you want to say first?
I'm just thrilled to see that list of like 48 service projects. And I think micro projects are something that all of the clubs can get really behind. It doesn't take a lot of effort, a lot of time, but it does give them the feeling that they are in service projects.
Micro projects are crucial for your older clubs, the clubs that don't have the ability to get out and do the major projects like they used to, but still want to feel like they're giving back to the community. Your older members thrive on micro projects, and you will be surprised how much energy those generate.
Mm-hmm.
I do warn people one thing about micro projects: don't overuse them. No more than one every 4 weeks, or one every 6 weeks, because you can burn them out. The people will it'll be like speakers. They'll be like, oh, here we go again. So.
Mm-hmm.
A really good point.
Mm.
I dropped the link to the Dropbox in the chat. If anybody has any questions or wanted to be able to grab that, if you didn't get it off the scan fast enough, it's in the chat there too, if you want to grab it from there. What other questions do people have?
Well, I have a comment. That was awesome. And I appreciate you guys allowing me to kind of eavesdrop. I was poking around, Amelia, on your district's website, because I'm just looking for new and different ways, to improve my club, increase membership as I'm preparing, for my year in a couple of weeks. So we do a lot of fun and friendship. We do a lot of service, but the business networking, and I have two new members, actually two of our newest members. They said, well, I joined Rotary because I thought you guys, network. However, the majority of our members are retired. So it's like, okay, what recommendations do you have when you have 90% of the membership that's retired? Average age is greater than 75. Um, and then you have, maybe 2% that's still working, looking to, connect, make,
Mhm. You, you,
what do you recommend?
you're going to love this, Flora. You're going to absolutely love this. All right. So there's two sides to this coin. All right. We're going to talk current in business, and then we're going to talk retirees. Okay. Current in business, they want the business networking. So how do we do that when we've got primarily retirees? These retirees are connected still in the community. Okay. So what we do is we do a help me grow my business meeting. Okay. The person explains what they do, and they say, I'm looking to find, these are the kind of people who I do well with. Who do you know? And then everybody gets a sheet of paper, has a pen. They write that person's name up there. They write that guy's cell phone or that lady's cell phone. And then who do they think they could help or who could help them? Okay. And then they give those sheets either to that person or they say, let me call them and actually set up a meeting. It's kind of the old BNI thing that we used to do. So that's how you leverage that. Now, what if you got people who are primarily, it's all retirees, you don't have any new young people, they're not there for business anymore. They are there for networking, but it's a completely different network now. It's, oh, I have this particular need in my life, be it financial advisor, be it a doctor that deals with a particular illness or whatever. Who do you know that you've used that is good in the community that could help me? What's a doctor you trust, or who's somebody who can help me do this? That's where that networking comes in for the retirees. So you give them the opportunity that says, all right, today we're going to talk about who do you love in the community? And it's just a praise session of networking that you go, all right, so somebody tell me a doctor that you absolutely love. Boom. Oh, I love so and so. They've done this, done great, whatever. Oh, wonderful. All right. Who's somebody who's been a great, help you with financial planning, and then you can Google or you can use ChatGPT and say, give me areas that retirees are constantly asking questions about or need help with. And then boom, there's your list. And then you go, well, so who do you know can help with this? Oh, I've used so-and-so with, whatever insurance company. I mean, these are the kind of things you can do, but they'll be there for their networking. And again, they'll tell others, go, oh my God, in our Rotary Club, we just had the most incredible session. I didn't know that so-and-so used so-and-so. I've been going to that doctor for so long, whatever. And it just builds the connections, the relationships, helps everything. So they're there for networking. It's just not business anymore.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah, something
Always.
you can look at too. I mean, like in our district, Amelia, well, for my club, our club belongs to the Chamber of Commerce. So if you're a member of the club, you are automatically a member of the Chamber of Commerce. And so you can attend all the chambers functions at the member rate. And we encourage them, and they have the things like business after business receptions for meeting other business people, things like that. And one of our members has been doing something similar, but he organizes these things in the district. And through the district, if your club is involved, and this is what I talk to people about as far as encouraging them to make sure and go to the district training sessions. Why? Because that's where you meet other Rotarians. Our district conference is going to be a joint district conference with District 7620. You've just expanded your Rotary network. And this is where you're talking about, well, I'm looking for someone, I need a good lawyer for this area. Well, you can get checked through your district, get in your district and type in the occupation. And you've got a whole bunch of people there, or vice versa. So, I mean, these are the things, and you can invite these people to talk to your club. If, in fact, ask your club members, well, do you guys have any particular needs? If it's older people, well, we're looking for X, Y, or Z. Well, maybe we could get someone from the district who's got that experience to come and talk to us. So things like that are possible to do that.
And let me just throw one last thing in there, Peter, because when you said that, it made me think of something that we say. A lot of clubs that are tend to be older are kind of getting pushed that you need to get younger members. You need to get younger members. Here's my philosophy on that. I disagree. My philosophy on this is get people who are connected to you. Forget the age. Okay. If you're connected to people who are just retired, grab the people who are just retired. Build it that way. But you're not going, the culture of the club is not going to change, and it's not going to fit necessarily if you're sitting there trying to focus on, we need to make the club younger. The best way to quote, help that is let that club sponsor another club or another alternate meeting time where it's different place, different time, different focus of people. And there's always somebody in the club, with 2 or 3 people in the club who seem to be younger at heart. That's what we say. And they connect with younger. Let them be the ones who kind of start that group and get that going. But, what my experience has been is that the clubs who try to target to bring in the young people, the people walk right out the door. They don't stay because the culture is not a fit. It's not what they need. So yeah, go after the people who just retired. Huge. They've got the money, they've got the time, and they want to be able to give back to the community because they've been giving back to the business for so long. So absolutely go after those people.
That is 100% what our new club at Lake Anna is it's new retirees, for the most part, newish retirees. It's all of our, that, new retiree, new time on their hands in their 50s, early 60s group. And it's perfect, right? And that's the group that they have that time, but they're looking for those connections and stuff. So all of those things are right there for it. So as we start to wrap up, I do want to go over a couple of upcoming events and things. Blanca, I see you just put your hand up. After I'm done with the, you can stay on afterward. I'll turn off the record so we stay on track. But that said, I see you're out there. We do have some upcoming, well, first of all, I guess let me say thank you to Ron. That was fan-freaking-tastic, truly irresistible, true magic. Like, that was awesome. Thank you. I know how much you have on your plate right now. I know what I have on my plate, and I know you do too, and you have your business that you're running too. So thank you for taking the time to do this right at Rotary Year End. I appreciate you very much.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
So thank you. So we do have some upcoming things to be able to have on your radars. And for Flora, you're welcome to come out to any and all of these. In fact, last year you came out to the Strikeout Polio with our two districts together, which is coming up on August 17th. It's District 7610 and 7620 up in DC, cheering on the Nats or the Phillies. We won't judge which one it is because they're both in red. So whatever. But that said, we would love for you to be able to come out and watch the baseball game with us. It does say it's Strikeout Polio night. It actually is an 11:35 game, AM, not PM, but our friends at the Nats didn't want to change their title because that's what they've always done. So yes, I get that it has the wrong time of the day, even though it starts at 11:35. But that's coming up on August 17th, 11:35 a.m. Tickets are available online. There is a link on DACDB as well if you want to go out and take a gander at that. Awards and installation coming up on Sunday. Yes, it is a Sunday afternoon, July 13th. It's from 3 to 6 p.m. at Potomac Point Winery. It is such a fun way to come together to celebrate the achievements of our clubs and to honor our Citizen of the Year and our Rotarian of the Year and our AG of the Year, our Inspire Award, and so many others. And I hope that you all will be there. Bring a bunch of friends from your clubs. We would love to be able to have a packed house to be able to also install at that point District Governor Ravi Cooper and her leadership team too. So I hope you'll come out to those, and it's just going to be a great way to be able to do it. There is room that if you want to have a House of Friendship booth at it, we have room for 8 clubs to be able to highlight one of their signature projects. There's no cost to be able to do that. You just have to reach out to Rachel Burns. The information is on DACDB when you go to register, but you just have to let her know that you want to have one of those tables. I will say, as I told her, adaptable and flexible because we are weather dependent of how much space and where if you'll be inside or outside, or if we say, hey, we sold out at 200 people and the weather sucks. So there's no room for it. So just be aware, hey, things happen. Adaptable and flexible is our middle name at this point in Rotary, right? So that's coming up on the 13th. And then also district conference is coming up on October 3rd through 5th. You can register online. It is joint again with District 7620. So if you came last year, you experienced how freaking awesome it was. If you missed out, you missed out, but don't miss out on this year's. It is over halfway sold out. So hopefully you'll be able to still snag tickets. And if you snag your tickets before July the 1st, you get the discount. After July the 1st, no discount, you pay full rate. So get it in before July 1 to be able to get registered. Save your hotel rooms as well, so that you also get that that price point, that price break as well. And then coming up for the end of this, we have 2 more sessions left. Like I said, we already had 2. This is our midpoint with the one that we had tonight with Ron. We have 2 more coming up. July 15th is Patrick Longano. I'll say the father of innovation in Rotary, but he's one who brought us impact clubs. And so you're going to hear from him talking about how innovative clubs can really reignite your club, and looking at different club models of how to change your club, how to look at bringing on a satellite club or any of the standalones. So it's a great chance to hear from him. And the last one is on August 19th. Our Rotary International Director, Patrick Eakes, is coming on, and he's talking about how to engage our new members with better onboarding. And so something that's near and dear to a lot of our hearts, because we see so many members come in and then they don't get engaged. And so how do we do a better job with that? To keep the momentum going, out on YouTube, on our YouTube channel is our, there's the last 2 of these, as well as this one here will be out there soon too. So if you want to go back and catch any of the prior recordings, they're all out there. So feel free to jump out there and grab them. So with that, I'm going to stop the share, stop the record. Anybody that wants to stay on and ask Ron more questions, you're welcome to stay on. Otherwise, have a good night.